When meeting leaders, you know the difference between a winner and a loser. Someone who gets great results and someone who gets mediocre results. But their strategy makes a big difference. And the winners do something that the losers don't do. Welcome back to Increase. I'm Blake Anderson. Wherever you're with me, whether you be here on Zoom, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, God bless you. Hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. Welcome to episode 46. Are you ready for more? Well, are you ready for more? Are you? Really? You ready for more money? Ready for more opportunities? Ready for more business? Ready for more responsibilities? Maybe a raise? In your waiting, have you ever wondered what seemed to be the delay? When will more really come? Does it feel like you want it so bad, but it just doesn't seem to show up? Maybe it feels like it's just out of arm's length. What is going on, and when can I expect it? Well, stay tuned for the rest of this episode. I'm going to give you some steps. I'm going to give you some insider tips on how to make more available, how to expect it, how to receive it, how to step into it so you can grow your business. Maybe you can get a raise or a promotion and you can see increase in your life. You know, I coach leaders, I meet with leaders, and really when meeting leaders, you know the difference between a winner and a loser, or maybe someone who gets great results and someone who gets mediocre results. You know, oftentimes it's not a difference on whether they care. It's not a difference on their intelligence, not necessarily a difference on their trustworthiness, but their strategy makes a big difference. And the winners do something that the losers, or the ones who get mediocre results, don't do. And so if you're a winner, I'm probably going to confirm some things you're already doing and hopefully give you the firepower to be more intentional to lead your team with the things you know to do. And if you are struggling to get the results that you want, if it always seems like it's just never enough and you can't quite get there, then stick around. I'm going to give you the insider baseball on how to change your results. So what I've found is that the folks that get the mediocre results always seem to have a story. There's always a reason why they didn't finish in time. There's always a reason why they're not performing. And they seem to have quite a bit more detail of why things haven't happened the way they wanted. And yet they couple those frustrations with complaints about how there's just not enough. If that's you, I want you to hear the inconsistency of what I'm saying. How can someone who's complaining that there's not enough also give an excuse for mediocre results? But you see, on the other side, the winners have a completely different tone in their voice. There's an aggression, there's an urgency, there's a proactivity in the way they speak and the things that they do. And here's what the winners do that the losers haven't figured out. The winners don't wait for more to come to start working. The winners know more can't come until I make room for more to get here. You hear me? Your mediocre leaders are saying, well, if there'd ever be more, then we could finally do better. If there was ever more, then maybe it would be worth putting in the time to prepare. You know, I'll just, when more gets here, I'll take care of it. I'll be ready. Yet more never seems to come to that way of thinking. Yet the winners are always working. They're getting ahead of it. What you up to? I'm preparing for more. I'm putting the preparations in. We're planning to double this year, and I've got to get ahead of it. You see the difference? The winners are proactive. They understand that more can't come to them unless they make room for the more. Here's what you've got to understand, business leader. That in order for more to come, you need to expand your capacity for more. More than your marketing strategy, more than your sales process, more than your ad budget. You need to make room for more. You've got to expand your capacity. And I promise you, as you increase your capacity for more, more will come. The deals will show up out of nowhere. The investor dollars will come in where you didn't expect. I have lived this time and time again. You see, as I was learning how this worked, I was just following the instinct of what I knew to do and following the leading of God when He'd open doors for me. But I've had a history of being a change agent in companies. And it would normally look like this. I'd get invited into a company because they wanted to grow. They had a great idea. They had a solid team of caring people that were talented. But they didn't have the results that they wanted, and they hoped to grow it. And I would get in there, and immediately I'd go to work because I took them at their word. They wanted to get there, and I believed that the more was coming. And so we started working, and every time I got in there, I expanded their capacity for more. And guess what happened? More happened. More business, more revenue, more investment dollars. We increased the staff, we increased the company, and we started a trajectory of more. But it didn't come because I sold. It didn't come because I marketed. It didn't come because I advertised. And those are all good things, an important part of a healthy business. The more came because I made room for it. Because they as a business were not prepared for what they were planning on, for what they wanted. And until they got prepared, it could never happen. So I want to teach you this. It's a 5-step process with some steps on each of those that if you'll start to learn, you'll be able to hopefully see your business in a completely new light, and you'll start doing things differently. Some of these are the kind of things you can do immediately tomorrow and immediately change the way you feel about yourself, the way you feel about your business, the way you interact with your customers. And don't be surprised if results don't start changing immediately. Now, some of the explosive growth that you're wanting will take implementing the whole process over time. But you start immediately, and you can immediately start momentum beginning to move. So, where do we start? Well, with anything. What you have to understand is success starts on the inside. You know, your external results are the product of your internal reality. You see, what's going on in your heart and going on in your head is creating your reality. So the first place you've got to start is you as a leader have to start inside. You've got to make room in your mental space, and you've got to make room in your heart. Oftentimes there's people who want so much more, but you can hear it when you talk to them. They've got a cluttered mind. They're scrambling. They've got too much that they're trying to manage, and they can't keep track of it all. I would never trust that person with any more than what they have. So if you want more, first you've got to get ready in your mind for more, right? So it might look like organizing your to-dos into an actual process. It might mean filing some things away. It might mean clearing out your email. It might mean that you need to shut off social media so you can bring some clarity in your mind. It might mean waking up a little bit earlier and starting the day on your terms so that you're not overwhelmed and burdened by outside sources. Instead, you start according to your plan. You know, successful leaders are proactive leaders, and they don't let the world happen to them. They happen to the world. They start the day with their intention, and they know what they want to get out of it and where they're going. So you have to start in your mind. Clean up your mind. Stop trying to use this creative instrument of your mind as a storage device. Yes, it can remember so many things. But as long as you don't have a process to document what you're responsible for and keep track of outside of your mind, this mind, which is meant to have fun and be creative, will use all of its energy trying to make sure it doesn't forget anything. What a waste of such a powerful instrument. It's amazing what happens when you begin to write things down and you're not trying to remember anymore. Your mind has peace and you no longer worry about those things. So first, if you don't have a process outside of your mind to remember what you need, get a pen and a paper and start to write it down. Literally write everything down that you're trying to remember on a piece of paper. And then create a process to manage your things. So one mental process I love is from this book, Getting Things Done by David Allen. And he documents a simple but powerful process to personal productivity. And it starts by taking things out of your mind. The second place that we need to make room is we make room in our heart. And we make spiritual room and emotional room. When we make a decision that we want more. You see, a real decision comes when you commit to something, when you burn the boats, when you burn the bridges. because the word decide really means to cut off. And so you make room when you cut off the things that you don't want and you commit to the things that you do want. Now no longer are the things that you don't want cluttering your space. No longer are they getting in the way. Now you've cut them off and you've shut the door, and those voices are silenced. The noise is silenced, and you are available and open for the things that you are pursuing. And you get single-minded and focused on what you want. Start there. Start on the inside. Step number 1, clear your head, clear your heart, and get in alignment with the more that you want. Step number 2, to making rooms so that you can experience more, as you start with your own personal process. You might be a business owner or a team leader, but success starts on the inside, and success starts with you. Before you go out and try to teach other people or tell someone else how to do their job better, it's time to take care of business right here. Operate from a place of integrity, and the things that you would want others to do, implement for yourself. So you need to start with your own personal process. Get organized. Get organized. Organized in your email, organized in your calendar, organized in your planning. Yet again, Getting Things Done, great book that lays out how to get organized and get personally organized. It is amazing how much better you will feel when you are organized. I want you to think about this. Have you ever had your house hadn't been cleaned up? Maybe the bed wasn't made, there's dishes in the sink, there are things laying around because you were busy and you didn't want to get to it, and someone text you or call to say, hey, I'm about to drop by. Can I stop and see you? How did you feel? Oh, not now. Oh, you can't come now. Oh, I'm busy. I'm not home. Right? Because you knew things weren't ready for more. They weren't ready for a new person in your space. You weren't ready to entertain anyone. But how does it feel differently when you've just cleaned your house, when you've just organized your desk, when you've just cleared your email? The amount of peace that comes over you is amazing. And this is a peace that leads to productivity and prosperity. So get organized. I cannot emphasize this enough. And then once you get organized, it's so much easier to stay organized. Second part of your personal process is you've got to get things working. You need to get organized and you need to get things working. You need to begin to plan your work and work your plan. Personally, you've got to start being productive, okay? Step 3, when we want to create room for more. So far, it's talking about being responsible, really, but the third step in creating room for more, and when you want more, most people, problem they're running into is they're excited about more. They're excited about a new opportunity or more money that they want to make or a goal that they've set. And what happens is, in the desiring of the new opportunity, they forget about their current responsibilities. And in this desiring of the new opportunity, they let their current responsibilities fade or fall by the wayside. And then they wonder why they're not successful. First things first, take care of business. Take care of what's in your hand. What's in your hands right now? Is it a job that you want a promotion from? Is it a current book of business that you want to grow more of? Is it a client that you're hoping to have more of? Start with what's in your hand right now. You might have a team that you want to grow, but don't ignore what you are doing right now. You will grow your current business by expanding what you have right now into what you want. Yes, know what you want. Yes, have a goal. Yes, decide in your heart. But don't run away from your current responsibilities to try to make the future happen. The future will be a product of you growing your current responsibilities. You can't complain about your lack of business when you're giving mediocre results right now. Okay? You can't complain that you don't have the volume or the increase that you're longing for while you continue to miss deadlines or go over budget. See, first things first, you need to take care of current responsibilities, and you need to get really good at them. Trust me, as you get really good at what you have right now, by becoming excellent at it and being able to do it easier and deliver a better product quicker, you're actually creating capacity right now. And that capacity that you've created will be filled by more opportunity. Before you have a chance to go look for more opportunity, if you do an excellent job with what you have right now, more will come finding you. Trust me, I've done this over and over and over again. Next, you start to expand your capacity from an intentional standpoint. Now you begin to prepare for more. So I've gotten my mind clear. I've gotten my heart set on what I want. I've shut off all of our other opportunities. I've gotten organized in my affairs, right? I've got my personal productivity process working. I'm stewarding well what's in my hand. Now I'm ready to grow. Now I'm ready to plan on increase. And now I need to start thinking about how would I handle more if it showed up. So to start expanding this capacity, you want to ask yourself a question. Let's say your business goal is you want to double this year. What will have to be true for you to be able to handle that volume of business? Start to document what has to be true for you to be able to handle that volume of business or that level of responsibility. Does the process you have right now, will it work at that level? Will your financial strategy work with double the amount of business? Is your current staff trained to be able to handle a greater volume of revenue? You start by thinking, what will have to be true for me to be able to handle the increase that I'm aspiring to? You will begin to list all the things that you need to do. And trust me, the more, the increase will be the result of you putting this process in place to handle it. You will not build the process after it comes. If you're waiting on more to come before you start building this process, you'll be waiting a very long time. Identify what you want and start making plans and putting the process and systems in place that it will take to receive it and to handle it. Okay? Now, in that, you'll likely start to identify something that's greater than yourself. Hopefully you have a company or a business and you start to realize, wow, if I really get what I want, I won't be able to handle all that myself. It'll take a bigger team. It'll take greater resources. And now let me give you the strategy to increase your resources, to increase your tools, to increase your staff. Because trust me, if you do all these things, then you better plan to bring on more people. But you don't want to make a mistake that many business owners make. Many business owners and leaders, as soon as they hit personal overwhelm, can you think about what they do? Guess what many business owners do? The mistake they make when they hit personal overwhelm is instead of doing this 5-step process that I'm giving you right now, they immediately think, I better hire someone. I can't handle it, I better hire. And that is a very expensive growth strategy, to go straight to hiring of new people. There are cost-effective ways to grow that are more strategic than just bringing on new people. New people are so much more expensive than getting organized. They're so much more expensive than being more productive. They're so much more expensive than just everyone doing their job right now. And they're so much more expensive than things like software and process. Not to mention, the last thing you want to do is bring a new hire into a situation where there is no process for them to work with. I've seen business owner after business owner immediately make a knee-jerk decision to hire someone. They go out, they recruit someone who's doing a really great job at the role that they want to hire for, but they don't have a process for that person. They bring this person on, and the person can't even be productive because there is no process to be productive in. Let me tell you a sad story. I know a business leader who wanted to develop a sales strategy for their company. And they didn't have one yet. They had a lot of organic sales. Wanted to bring on a full-time salesperson. Recruited someone they knew from out of state who was killing it as a salesperson in this other similar organization. And they assumed, wow, if they can do it so good for them, what could happen if they could do it that good for me? This business owner, being overwhelmed, did not take the time to create a process. They quickly went to hire the expensive salesperson. The unfortunate thing is the salesperson they recruited said yes. They were looking for a new opportunity. They believed in the mission. But what both of them failed to do was identify whether the company was ready for the new salesperson, whether there was a process in place for the new salesperson to be productive. New salesperson comes in and for 6 months produces nothing, is hiding all their lack of results until finally it explodes when they realize there's nothing to show for it, and the person who had moved out of state gets fired. Now, who's to blame for the lack of results? Is it the new salesperson who didn't accomplish anything for 6 months? Or is it the business leader who didn't prepare to help that person be successful? You see, what happened was the new salesperson was super productive and successful when given a defined sales process. They had marketing behind them. They had a process. They had software behind them. And the younger business owner was expecting that the salesperson was going to come in and build all the things that weren't there. And that person who was successful was really needing it to be in place because he was the person that was great at implementing strategy long term, but did not have the skill set to build it from the get-go. Recipe for disaster. Business owner wants to expand, finds the right talent, doesn't prepare for the increase, doesn't support their new hire, and we see money wasted and lives disrupted. So how do we bring on staff? What's the process? How do we increase? Well, you want to start with the things I started. As an organization, it works as a person too, as a team. First things first, get organized. Organize everything that you're doing. Make sure that the office is not a mess, that things are filed away, that everything is where it belongs. That's step one. Step number two, look at your process. Iron out what you're currently doing. Improve or create whatever processes are missing. Make sure that everybody on the team is working together. Make sure that everybody on the team knows whose responsibility is what. Make sure there's no balls getting dropped and that everyone can execute their role seamlessly, collaboratively as a team and can get success. That will take some time. That will take teamwork. That will take commitment. You cannot just assume that because someone is hired to do it and that's their job description that they will do it perfectly. You as a leader need to get in there and make sure that it's all working together. Step 3, look at your current software that you're using. Chances are you're using something. And most of the time, people think they need they think they need the brand new expensive software. But the reality is most teams have not even maximized the current software they have. Now maybe your only software is the free stuff. Google Drive, Google Sheets, Google Docs. I'm going to tell you what, you can do a lot of things with the free web-based software. There's a lot more functionality than you realize in that free software. And for no extra money, you can start getting better results right now. Take the time to learn what you have and try to maximize it. Those first 3 steps will cost you nothing and will immediately change the game in your current business. Trust me. Step number 4 is when you have to start spending money. When you've done these first 3 steps, I guarantee you your business is going to start moving, you're going to generate more money, and you're going to have momentum going. And you're going to realize in order to scale, you're going to have to make an investment. My advice is the first investment to make would be software over people. And if you're going to bring on people, the people I'd be bringing on would be part-time contract-based people who are doing administrative things, who are freeing up the brain power of the leaders to be able to focus on creative things. But I'd be looking for software solutions rather than people solutions. The next software is likely going to cost you $100 a month, $1,000 a month. But even at $1,000 a month, this software is much cheaper than even an inexpensive full-time admin. So you want to go software first. Most companies quickly want to bring on some high-power, high-salary people. because the owner and leader is overwhelmed. But that $100,000 software, that $100,000 executive is so much more expensive than a $20,000 software. When oftentimes maybe what you need is the current leaders just need a little bit more of their time back to generate some extra revenue. Now this software, before you purchase it, you need to ask yourself, will this money spent create a 10 times return on the investment? Software should be like a 10x return at minimum on the investment. You shouldn't spend $1,000 just to make an extra $1,000. You should spend $1,000 to make an extra $10,000 or more. Exponential returns come when the right software comes in place. And if you can't get an extra exponential return, you're not ready for it. Finally, when the software is in place and you've got it working well for everybody, you're probably going to be ready to hire some people. You're probably going to need to increase that staff, and you're probably going to need some help. Now, you have been creating capacity for more all along, and I guarantee you by the time you hit this step, more is coming, and it is starting to fill your hands. So are you ready for more? Have you done everything that you can with your current situation? Are you making the plans and preparation in your process to be able to handle the more you're looking for? I want you to catch yourself the next time that you find yourself dissatisfied with your results. The next time you find yourself frustrated and longing for more. That's when you decide to think, am I even really ready for more? Do I have everything in place for more to come? Am I maximizing my current opportunity? You got it in you. You can do it. More is waiting for you. Join me next time on Increase.